What's going on, everybody? Good Sunday morning. It is your boy, the Bad Diggity Dizzle, back with another New York Giants video. In this video, I just kind of want to recap what the Giants have done in free agency so far. Obviously, this offseason has been very excited for us New York Giants fan with the coup de grace yesterday of Kenny Galladay becoming a New York Giant. Obviously, something the Giants had to address this offseason was getting Daniel Jones a pure number one receiver, and they did that with Kenny Galladay. 4 years, $72 million. It was a little bit more than I thought that they would pay for him, for sure. I didn't think he would get 4 years either, but obviously the New York Giants really wanted Kenny Galladay, and again, this is not as much for the New York Giants, perhaps, as it is for Daniel Jones, so that they know what they have going forward with Daniel Jones, and if Daniel Jones still can't get it done, then obviously the Giants are set up for success with their next quarterback. And they're going to bring in Adoree Jackson as well this evening. They're going to talk to him on Monday, I believe, and then we'll see if the Giants can add him. There's talks about Jadeveon Clowney being interested in the New York Giants. And again, if Jadeveon Clowney wanted to come to the Giants, as long as we give him a one-year deal, a prove-it deal, I'd be fine with that if they don't spend a lot of money on him. People are saying where the Giants getting this cap space. As I said, you can restructure a lot of contracts. Leonard Williams signing saved us $8 million. Cutting Zeitler saved us $10 million. Redoing Nate Solder saved us $6 million. They could restructure Bradbury and Martinez. There's a lot of things they can do. I'm still waiting for them to cut Spencer Pulley. That'll save them $2.3 million. And then, of course, in my heart, I believe they're going to trade Evan Ingram during the draft at some point. It just makes all the sense in the world to trade him. You save $6 million. You get an extra draft pick. You've signed Kyle Rudolph, which is part of what they did this year, and you can still draft a tight end if you decided to go that route. They already have 4 tight ends, including Evan Ingram. There's no reason not to trade this guy unless they plan on bringing him back in a multi-year deal next year. So, to me, they should trade Evan Ingram. But I love what the New York Giants did, what they have done so far. Obviously, they have a lot of one-year deals with guys. Reggie Ragland, John Ross, really good. These are just low-risk, high-reward type of players. John Ross, as I've said a number of times, was my poster boy for why the 40-yard dash means nothing. $2.5 million for John Ross. Hey, you know what? Like I said, try to get him in open space. Run some end arounds, run some double reverses, bubble screens, whatever you can do, some rub routes, get him open, let him utilize the speed. That'll be Jason Garrett's job to find ways to use John Ross and let him use his speed. Kyle Rudolph, at first I was sitting there kind of like, why did we sign Kyle Rudolph? Why did we give him $16 million? They didn't. They ended up giving him $12 million for 2 years, which is exactly what they're paying Evan Ingram. They're paying him $6 million. Kyle Rudolph, from what I understand, has dropped 2 passes in the last 2 years. This will be a great security blanket for Daniel Jones. It'd be nice to have a tight end that can actually catch the ball. He's a good red zone target, and Jason Garrett loves to utilize the tight ends. We all know as Giants fans that Jason Witten used to kill us on a regular basis. Jason Witten wasn't athletic. Jason Witten wasn't fast, but Jason Witten was very effective. You could say the same thing about Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph is going to be very effective for the New York Giants. Odenigbo from the Vikings, I think it's an underrated signing. The guy had, 10.5 sacks in the last 2 years. He had 28 tackles for loss. He had a bunch of quarterback pressures. He was double-teamed a bunch of times. Very underrated signing, in my opinion. This is a guy that could come in here in Patrick Graham's scheme with Leonard Williams and B.J. Hill and Dexter Lawrence and probably have a really good effect on the defense. And I really like that signing. I think it's very underrated. Leonard Williams. We got to remember Leonard Williams was a free agent signing, right? This was an absolute must for the New York Giants, man. He was our best pass rusher. He had 11.5 sacks. He had a career season. He was the leader of the defensive line. And you know what? Maybe the Giants paid him a lot per season, but only 3 years. And like I said, the fact that they were able to sign him saved us $8 million on the cap. Leonard Williams, we needed him back. That's a big signing for the New York Giants to get Leonard Williams back. Logan Ryan. We did that before free agency, but we locked him up 3 years, $30 million. First, I thought maybe $10 million was a little bit much, but it ends up that it's not going to be that much. He's part of the 3-safety set. He's recruiting guys in here. There's a lot of really good culture, if you will, within the Giants locker room, which is why I think that a lot of players now want to come play for the New York Giants. This is why Jadeveon Clowney's interested in coming here. This is why Adoree Jackson's visiting with the Giants, because I think that they believe the Giants are turning the corner, and you can see that they're going in the right direction. And this coaching staff is really good. And I think players want to play for Joe Judge, whether, he's a disciplinarian, whether he's tough or not. I think players like the fact that this guy has a winning attitude. Kenny Galladay obviously was the major piece in this whole thing. And that was something that we coveted the whole time. Me, I was all about one of these guys. I wanted Allen Robinson. I preferred Allen Robinson, but I wasn't going to be mad at Kenny Galladay. It's not like they were, head and shoulders apart. It was like 1 and 1A. Kenny Galladay, 6'4", he is the best receiver at catching and contested passes. He averages over 17 yards a catch. Kenny Galladay is exactly what the New York Giants needed. A lot of people compare him to Plaxico Burress because, when Eli Manning was a rookie, he really struggled. Eli Manning's second year, they got that big play receiver in Plaxico Burress. They got that big, tall target for Eli Manning, and we all know what happened. Eli Manning and the Giants won a Super Bowl with Plaxico Burress, and Plaxico Burress was a big part in Eli Manning's development. They're doing the same thing with Kenny Galladay and Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones now has his big target, his number one receiver, and Daniel Jones should ball out this year. There really is no excuses with a Kyle Rudolph, with a Kenny Galladay, and now with a John Ross. Again, if you could just find a way to get this guy open and let him utilize his speed, it'd be great. This is what coaching staffs need to do. The coaching staffs always need to get the most out of their player and utilize their skill sets. This is on Jason Garrett to find ways to get John Ross the ball in open space. So there's a lot of good moves. Reggie Ragland move again. I wanted the Giants to draft Reggie Ragland. I liked Reggie Ragland coming out of Alabama. To me, he hasn't really lived up to expectations. But again, maybe in a new system, maybe he flourishes. Maybe he can come out here and have a good season for the New York Giants. But again, all these deals are short-term contracts outside of Kenny Galladay. They're 1 and 2 year deals. Leonard Williams was a 3-year deal. So the Giants can either decide at the end of the year, hey, these guys are worth keeping on board, or they can let them walk. The Giants going forward have a lot of cap space. According to Over the Cap, the Giants have about $44 million in cap space. Now, it doesn't include the Kenny Galladay contract. When I looked at it this morning, I didn't see Kenny Galladay on there. So it doesn't include him. But the Giants still have cap space going forward. And again, all these guys, are coming off the books because they're 1-year deals. Evan Ingram, regardless, will come off the books next year. I'd rather have him off the books this year because I just given up on Evan Ingram. But Dave Gettleman and company have knocked it out of the ballpark this offseason. They did it last year. Now, fans can be, there's cynical fans. There's teams of opposing fan base go, you won 6 games, you're not good. He's done a terrible job. But you got to look for baby steps, man. It's all about improvement. The Giants improved a lot last year. They played a lot of really tough teams last year. They were in a lot of those games. They beat Seattle with their backup quarterback. They didn't have Saquon Barkley the whole season. They blew 3 games that they should have won. If Evan Ingram catches the ball against the Eagles, we win the division. I know we would have been 7-9, but that's really all it was. That was the difference. All they had to do was catch the ball. We beat the Eagles. We blew the game against Dallas. We blew the game against Tampa Bay. We just hold on to those victories. Hold on to them. We're 9-7. I mean, I know it's a big if. But if you have a Kenny Galladay, if you have a Saquon Barkley in those games, there's no doubt in my mind that we win those games. We probably would have beat the Bears if we had those players in those games. The Giants have done a great job of building this team so far through the draft. Dave Gettleman's had pretty nice drafts so far. You can question some of the things. Obviously, we don't know. Saquon Barkley's been injured a lot. Obviously, there's a ton of talent, but what has he really produced? Jury's still out on Daniel Jones. I understand that. Andrew Thomas struggled a little bit last year. Just first-round draft picks, there's still questions there. But a lot of his later picks have really developed. And last year, I think they did a great job. Every guy that he drafted pretty much made an impact, on the team, on a game, whatever. All 3 of those linemen that he drafted ended up starting at some point last year. Xavier McKinney came in, made a big impact as soon as he was healthy. Darnay Holmes had a great season. And you saw guys like Tay Crowder, like Carter Coughlin, like Cam Brown all have impacts on what the Giants did last year. So again, I love what the Giants have done this year in free agency so far. And again, it's not over. Like I said, there's talks. They're going to talk with Adoree Jackson. There's talks about Jadeveon Clowney being interested, or the Giants being interested in Jadeveon Clowney. It's been a really good offseason. If Dave Gettleman and company can knock out the draft again, there's no reason to think as Giants fans that we can't win 9 or 10 games. There's no reason to think with an easier schedule and a much better roster, now this is considering all things are equal and they stay healthy, that they're going to have a very successful season. Again, they had a new coaching staff. They had a bunch of rookies. They did not have a regular offseason. There was no OTAs. There was no minicamp. There was no rookie camp. Training camp was weird. They had no preseason games. They had no time to get acclimated to any of this stuff and learn NFL speed. They got thrown right in out of the frying pan into the fire. This year's going to be completely different with the New York Giants. They'll be able to build some chemistry, some unity, and there's no reason to think that they can't be extremely successful. We'll see what else they do in free agency. And the other thing is, and I've said this a number of times, one of the biggest reasons I wanted Kenny Galladay, not just for Daniel Jones, not just for the Giants, but what it does for the Giants with the 11th pick. Now they are not focused on just getting a receiver. If they want to go Devontae Smith at 11, they can. If they want to go Kyle Pitts at 11, they can. If they want to go Rashawn Slater at 11, they can. If they want to go Pat Surtain at 11, they can. If they want to go Greg Rousseau at 11, they can. Or Kwity Paye at 11, they can. They can do whatever they want now because they filled that massive need in that number one receiver spot with Kenny Galladay. I love what the Giants have done in this offseason. And again, if you're a Giants fan, there is really good reason to be optimistic. I can honestly say for the first time in a long time, I am very excited about the New York Giants season. And not just thinking with my heart this time, but thinking with my head. There's a lot of times I come on here and I'm always like, well, I think we can win. I think we can win. This confidence is going to grow, man. I love what the Giants have done this offseason. And as a Giants fan, man, it's fun to look towards the season and say, you know what, I think we got a good chance at winning this division because these teams in the division, they did get better. Trust me, Dallas got better this offseason. Washington got better this offseason. It'll be nice to see the NFC come back to fruition. It'll be nice for our division, which is the best division in the history of football, to be good again. It'll be nice to get those old school rivalries back where all these teams are good and they're all playing tough against one another. So I'm looking forward to it for sure. We'll see what the Giants do for the rest of free agency. And then, of course, we'll start focusing on the draft. That's all I got in this video, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. I'll see you live tonight, Lakers and Suns. It's a beautiful day outside today. I'm going to go out. I'm going to run. We're going to go out. We're going to hang out. I'm just going to enjoy the day. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. It's the Bad Diggity Dizzle. I'm out. Peace.